Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am super excited about tonight, and I'm so happy that you're here. I hope it's a little bit life-changing for you. Some of this information that we're sharing and the support that you're receiving from not only from our team, ProCare Health sponsors this, and we have a team that works really closely to try to make these events as good as possible, as valuable as possible. But also each of you add to what we're putting on. And apologize about that. That's just my phone. I'm turned off. But what we do is we try to make it as valuable as possible, and each of you add value. Each of you out there that are listening and a part of this event are just add to this. So we have a chat box on the side. You'll see if you're on a mobile phone, we have an app for the Crowdcast, and you can also participate on that if you're on the go or you're listening, as you're walking or driving or whatever. And then we also have an Ask a Question box, which I've posted some of our outline for that. So if you have to leave and then you want to come back and listen to the replay, those are time stamped. So there's little times that are stamped inside of the Ask a Question box for the outline. If you want to ask questions, feel free to put your own questions in there. I promise you we will try to answer every single one. It looks like we have lots of you joining us. We're so excited. So we have Kristen, we have Kathy, we have Janine, we have Nicole. Janine is actually part of our ProCare team. She's from Michigan. Looks like we have California, Atlanta. It's exciting. So Brittany and I are both from around the southern Missouri. She's actually Illinois, just across the river. But she'll be joining us here soon too. We had a really long day. The last 2 days we've been doing a lot of preparation. We actually did a part 2 series of our fitness series. If you're not already a follower on our Crowdcast channel, I'll post that here in just a second. It's a way to get notifications when we do new events. So we have, I think we're probably like 50 or 60 replays of different types of live events that we've done so far, not just these support groups. We do these support groups once a month, third Thursday usually. Today it was a little early because Brittany was going to be out of town. I'm trying to remember. I think it was me. And we do live topics on a weekly basis. So every topic you can imagine, we've been doing these for years. So we have all kinds of subjects. Our topics that we've been streaming the last few weeks have been on fitness, and we have a fitness trainer, and she's also a physical therapist. So she has so much knowledge, and it has been incredibly helpful. Our whole ProCare team has hired Amy to do fitness workouts with us, and we're doing a Biggest Losers challenge. So pray for us during that because we all need support as well. We're going to see, we did measurements, pictures, we did the whole number because we all want to get, as healthy as we can get too. So the topic tonight is meditation basics. And the reason I'm so excited is because it's a passion of mine. I've taught all kinds of meditation classes before. For those of you who I've not met before, if this is your first time, let me know. Are you a first-time joiner? Have you been on a event with us before? Send out a little something in the chat box if you're joining us for the first time or if you've been with us before, and let us know. So meditation basics, the reason I'm passionate about it is because of my background. For those of you who've not introduced to before, my background is nursing. I also have a coaching degree and like life coaching, and then also a practitioner license in something called Healing Touch, which is a energy type of work. So I have kind of a diverse background, and meditation I feel like is very helpful. Now, how does it pertain to people who've had bariatric surgery? The less stress you have, the happier you are, the more peaceful you are, the easier it is, I say, to lose weight, to be on track with where you're going, to be centered, to be, as aligned as you can with that inner place of inner being that exists within each of us. So hopefully I'm going to be able to share some things. Maybe some of you has anybody out there meditated before? I have a little poll here. The question on the poll says, do you meditate? I have one vote for yes every day. I have not too many people have filled this out yet, so go fill it out. It's, do you meditate once every day? Yes, a couple days a week, a couple days a month, a couple days a year. No, but I'm interested in learning more. So I can get a little bit more advanced if I know some of you are full meditators, and I can kind of cue it down a little bit for those people who are first timers. There's never a better time to start than the present. Every day is a gift. And I think all the things that we've all been through, whether it be weight loss surgery, whether it be all this craziness within the last few years that we're all going through, these kind of things can help us. And really, what meditation does, for those of you who aren't really sure, because what I think part of sometimes people think of meditation as just somebody sitting there, with their fingers like this and legs crossed and just saying, which we'll talk about that too. But it's so much more than that. There's probably hundreds, probably thousands of ways to meditate. There's not a right or wrong way to do that. And so what it does is it helps you gain a greater sense of awareness to the inner parts of yourself, which reflect the outer parts of yourself. It helps you increase wisdom, direct knowledge. It helps you access kind of a sense of flow with life, and helps you feel more peaceful, less reactive to situations. I mean, who couldn't use that? Who, regardless of what's going on, to feel more peaceful and trustful of life. And so one of the strongest benefits, I believe, is to actually access conscious information. So we're always accessing information, but sometimes it's more conscious than other times. You're bringing it into a different level of awareness. So that helps, to me, like some of these greatest people on this earth that have contributed so much to society, like Albert Einstein, Walt Disney. These people were in the zone. They were in a place of direct knowledge. They were allowing that knowledge to pour through them to help other people. And each of you have special gifts. When you kind of open up those channels and you allow that energy to flow through, I call it a lot of times inspiration. When you're on track, on cue, the inspiration pours through and it allows you to access maybe things that you wouldn't have had ability to do before, because if you're stressed out, sometimes you block that knowledge from coming through. Here we're going to explore a few different things. So I'm going to kind of go to my little notes, and I'm going to check a couple things. So it looks like we had a few more people join. We have Nicole. I think I mentioned she's California, Missouri, and we have Joyce. Hello. And I also want to just say, I want to access real quickly this Crowdcast channel, and you guys can open this up in a separate link if you wanted. We have a channel that you can subscribe to. Probably a lot of you may already be subscribed, but if you subscribe to our ProCare channel on Crowdcast, it'll allow you to get notifications when we start new events, and also have access to all the events that we've done. So I'm accessing that. You guys are welcome to open that in a separate link, and feel free to follow us on that. So let's get started. Brittany will be joining us very shortly. If you're just joining and you are wondering where she's at, she'll be here shortly. So the very first thing that we're going to do, you're going to see me kind of move my screen here a little bit and share it. So I'm going to be sharing my screen through different parts of this. And you're going to see a PowerPoint. Let me go up to the very beginning, meditation basics, and here. Also, I want to add too, for me, I want you to know a little bit more about me. I want you to know that I'm also a bariatric surgery patient. I had weight loss surgery back in, it's been about 8 years, 2013. And I had the sleeve gastrectomy. It's been a wonderful, wonderful tool. I loved it. It helped me with my blood pressure. It helped me with feeling more active. My energy level increased. So I'm a strong advocate in that way. And also I worked for a bariatric surgery program that I was a coordinator, and so I helped see patients, every day. So I hope to kind of bring my experiences and experience of a lot of the patients that I saw, bring those experiences together to try to help this information to be better for you guys. So if you're still seeing my screen, I'm going to actually go to the slides and kind of talk just a little bit about what we're going to be talking about. I'm making this just a tiny bit bigger. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. You guys hear me okay? Usually I have Brittany on here to do sound checks and stuff ahead of time. It just didn't work out that way. So what we're going to say here is we're going to learn benefits of meditation. Some of you already may be pretty aware of some of those. We kind of talked about a few of those in the beginning. How to meditate. So there's different types of meditation. We're going to just kind of touch briefly on a few. And with practice, you'll be able to establish a more balanced life patterns. It'll help you with basically feeling more peace during the day, having more concentration. The third thing we're going to do is talk about when and how long to meditate. Is there a right or wrong answer there? I don't know. Stay with us. You'll find out. Body positions to hold while meditating. Okay. And I think finding comfort is important here, and we'll talk about that. And then different forms of meditation. So we're going to talk about a few of them so that you kind of are aware if you want to do some additional research after this. To find maybe something that really works well for you. And then accessory items that may increase your focus and intention while meditating. So it heightens your experience, and we'll talk about that. Maybe helps you get more relaxed, helps bring a new energy in to help you be more aligned, and we'll talk about that. So at this point, I'm going to kind of take a breath because I'm just talking nonstop, and I want to allow anybody here who has a comment or anything they want to say about this topic to kind of chime in, because this is a support group. I want you guys to be part of this. So anything you want to add, I'm going to kind of watch our chat box and see. And let's see here. I'm going to kind of keep that window open. And first thing we're going to do is talk about the benefits. So what are some of the benefits of meditation? And again, I'm going to be continuously watching, let's see, okay. I'm going to continuously keep watching the chat box. So if you guys do comment something, I'll be looking over there here very frequently to just check that out. So meditation is about training your awareness and getting a healthy sense of perspective. And I'm kind of pausing there because I feel like that's so important. Perspective is how you uniquely see the world, okay? And why is that important? Because if you go into the world feeling frightened and fearful or sad and depressed, you're going to see a very different worldview than if you're going into the world every day, with a smile on your face and having an outlook that you're trusting the world, that everything is happening to you for your highest good, regardless of what it may seem like on the outside. And sometimes that can be hard. We all go through very, very difficult things. For me, my experiences this past year, I actually lost a job that I was working at as bariatric coordinator because our program closed, unfortunately, due to a lot of different things. It was right around the time COVID hit. And, at the time that felt like the worst thing in the world. But now I've always loved what I'm doing, but this is such a reward to be here with each of you. So we can't always see the larger picture. Also, my father, Brittany's here. I'm going to invite her on screen. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a second to be able to do that. I might be able to do it here. Let's see, Brittany. Here you are, honey buns. I gotcha. Okay. So this year has been hard for me because my father, I spent 2 months in the hospital with him. Hello, Brittany.
Hi, everybody. So sorry I'm late. I really hope I'm not interrupting anything. And sorry, I look like a mess. We were working out today with Amy.
I kind of told them that we were doing workouts.
Yeah. So sorry I'm late. For those of you who don't know, I live in Illinois, so I have about an hour and 10-minute commute to the office, which is not bad. I'm not complaining at all, but it just I didn't leave the office in time, so I was a little late.
We're glad you're here.
And Stella wants to say hi.
Hello, Stella. Brittany, I think I'm echoing.
No, I don't hear you echoing at all.
Anybody hear me echo? Nope, maybe it's probably on my end. I'm going to turn some things down. Okay. Okay.
She's probably going to be a little needy tonight because I've been gone all day.
Aw, she needs some extra love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes to echo. See, they're hearing it too, Brittany. I don't know. I turned my stuff down. Do you have more than one window?
I don't.
It might be me. Because I have two windows open. I'm going to close one out, but I will not be able to see the chat box.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, is the echo better?
I never heard one, so I need you guys to say something if you can hear it.
Hello? I can still hear it. Well,
do you want me to turn my volume down? Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe so, and I'll turn mine down too. Okay.
Hello?
She said no. I don't know if that means no, it's better. No echo. No echo, maybe? I hear the echo, Joyce says. Okay. She said I can still hear it. I can too, Brittany. I'm not sure. Maybe it could go off and come back on.
Before I jumped on?
Nope.
So it's me. I'm the problem.
Well, I don't know if it's you, but she said it did help turn the volume down. Jump off and jump back on. Sometimes that makes a difference.
Oh, you know what? I just realized my headphones aren't working. Talk real quick.
Hello? It's echoing.
My headphones aren't working. That's what the issue is.
Okay. It's better with the volume down, she said. I wonder if you just take them off.
Test. Save.
I don't think you echo. Kind of sounds like me. Okay. Are we better, guys? Anybody out there want to tell us if they can hear us echoing or if it's better? We want you guys' experience to be the best. We don't want you to have to listen to an echo the whole time. With the speaker open on Brittany's end, you will get the echo. Yes, better.
Okay, I turned the volume down, but I can't completely turn it off because then I won't be able to hear Brenda.
Okay. And I got my volume down pretty low, too.
Okay. We're going to have to roll with it, guys.
We'll see here, guys. We'll see. Let us know. Feel free to comment if you're having problems, if you're hearing us. I did hear an echo on that. Okay. Should I just get started again, Brittany?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to mess with my earphones and get those to work because I guarantee you that's why it's not.
Okay.
That's why it's echoing.
And I'm going to our PowerPoint.
I'm listening now.
I'm going to go ahead and continue. Watch the chat box. If they're having a hard time understanding, it definitely is echoing on my end.
Okay.
You may even have to, I don't know, may have to click off.
If you want me to log off and restart my computer and come back, I can do that.
Maybe so. Just see if it helps.
Okay. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really just messing this whole support group up tonight.
You're fine. What I'm going to do is keep going, though.
Okay, yeah, you keep going. I'm going to restart everything on my end. I'll be back in like 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right, bye.
Sounds good. Bye, Brittany. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do is pop back onto this slide. I'm hoping that you guys can see me, and I'm going to pop back onto my live stream view. Okay, so benefits of meditation. And we're going to keep going because I want you guys to get the very best out of this experience, okay? So meditation is, it's about training your awareness. And we talked about perspective. And so with practice, you'll establish a sense of peace, okay? And for me, the reason I started this journey, like on meditation, it's probably been about 15 years ago, in studying all different forms of that in energy work, different forms of ways to just kind of connect and have a sense of deeper peace, is because I worked in the emergency room for about 20 years as first a secretary, then a tech, and then a nurse. And throughout the 20 years, you see a lot of different things, a lot of different experiences, you know, from the little bitties to the older people, and all different kinds of things going on. And what I found was it started affecting me as a person. You know, I'm very empathetic. A lot of you out there may be empathetic. And what that means is that you sense and feel other people reactions to things. You feel their pain. Empathy is a wonderful thing. It's a way to connect to another person and share an experience. But what happens is when you're really empathetic person, very sensitive, you can start taking on some of that experience through your own body. And so what I found is I started gaining weight. I developed some anxiety. I thought, you know what, there has to be a better way to help people than just through medication, through bandages, through, there's a lot that can be said from just putting a hand on somebody and helping them. But I thought there has to be more to helping people than just medicines and just band-aids, basically. And so I started studying this type of work, meditation, and so forth. And so what happens is benefits are cumulative. So, you know, you may not always see something right away, but over a long term, sometimes you can. Over a longer term, you start noticing that you feel more peaceful. You have access to ways to calm your nervous system down. You know, with, like I said, with being in an emergency department setting for that period of time, my adrenaline levels, my fight or flight mechanisms, I could feel myself just, going way out there. And so finding ways to calm your nervous system down. Also, stress, it can affect our bodies. It can affect your shoulders, your posture. It can affect how you feel. It can affect, I believe it actually is the root cause of any kind of medical issue going on, because it's part of that. I'll just go that far. So to meditate, to get good at life, not to get good at so we meditate not to get good at life. I'm sorry. I'm stumbling. I apologize, guys. So we meditate to get good at life, not to get good at meditation. Okay? So there's no right or wrong way to meditate. I'm reading off my notes here and I kind of got a little tongue-tied, but get that. It's not about just getting good at meditation, because people get freaked out sometimes. They say, oh, I can't slow down my mind. It's about not just slowing down your mind, but slowing down everything so that you can allow yourself to be more balanced and at peace. It can help you be more productive. I'm going to check on Brittany here really quickly to see if she's logged back on. Okay, I don't see her quite yet. But it looks like she may be. But to be more productive at work, I'm going to go back to my slide here and have an improved focus. So when your mind is clear, you can allow room for more thoughts and ideas to come on. I can remember one of the biggest pointers that I heard from somebody who was teaching productivity on work, because sometimes I would get that was a little hard thing for me. They said, if you put things on paper, you're taking them out of your mind and you're putting them on paper. And so you're not recycling those thoughts. Like, I need to do this. I need to do this. So having a to-do list is one of my biggest things. I love having to-do lists. I love having stick-it notes, because it keeps that stuff not from recirculating in my brain and me thinking, I have to remember that. I have to remember that. It also helps you get better at sleep at night. So relaxing your body and your mind, it helps quiet the distractions that keep your mind buzzing. And studies have found that meditation can help reduce cortisol, which is a hormone associated with stress. And meditation increases the natural melatonin levels to help with more restful sleep. So Just checking on Brittany here again. Okay. Glad you guys are still here with me. I'm watching the chat box, so I did reopen that window. So if you do have anything that you want to say about this as we're kind of going through, I have a couple more things that I want to talk about benefits, and then we're going to I'm going to have you do a little pre-survey, we'll say. We'll kind of do it together. So also helps you be calmer even in the storm. As I mentioned before, less reactionary to situations. So maybe it's raining really hard out. You're finding that it's a storm out. It's very uncomfortable. Maybe you're afraid of storms. Finding yourself a place of peace, what happens is it helps you not be reactionary to the storm outside, kind of being at the eye of the storm. It also can help your mind be more tranquil. It can help stabilize your moods, kind of make you be more even keel. It helps increase your intuition, which at this part I love. So intuition is the idea that we make the decisions without deliberate analytical thought. And some ascribe this to a sixth sense. I actually love teaching things on intuition because I just feel like it's so helpful for everyday life. A lot of times people think it's a psychic thing or whatever, but it's a tool. Just like your bariatric surgery is a tool, intuition, increasing your intuition and learning tools for that is so helpful because it helps you really be in tune to what's going on in your life and with other people. So I'm going to kind of check on Brittany again. I don't see her quite yet. Oh, it says she's on screen.
I think I'm on here.
Okay. I guess
Can you hear me?
Oh, I see you now. Okay. I also want to say, let's see. So, Brittany, anything you wanted to add? I'm going to keep going, but I just didn't realize you're back.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
It definitely has helped me prioritize what is, as far as meditation and the benefits, what you were talking about, decreased anxiety, and the less stress, calmer even in the storm. So what I've found, what really helps me with meditation is that it's not necessarily that it makes all the stress in my life go away. What it does is it makes me able to prioritize it better, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So something as simple as like right now I'm fighting with a family member. And normally this would, really upset me and it would get a reaction out of me. And, now after this call, I'm probably going to do some meditation and deep breathing and I'll probably feel a lot better. But what I'm saying though is it helps with prioritizing and just, it kind of like puts your problems in perspective for you. Like, arguing with a family member is so little and silly as compared to someone who may be struggling with a serious health condition or, something like that. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the thing is all the things that happen in life aren't going to necessarily, what we consider to be bad or good, the bad things aren't going to necessarily just go away. But how you react to them and how you handle them is what we're talking about here. And so you're spot on. It helps you just be at peace regardless. Just helps you have that sense of calm in everything. I believe whenever I first started meditating, I never thought this could be possible, but I believe everything in life is almost like a prayer. When you kind of get into meditation and you start learning more and more and you start being more at peace, you understand that every thought, every word, every action is a divine way to express yourself and to be a part of all of this that we're here. And it helps you to be more intentional, intentional about what you're doing. Also, it helps with anxiety. So we were talking about, those knee-jerk responses, like, when you're talking about being upset with someone, sometimes it's really easy just to fly off the handle and say something that can be maybe hurtful to the other person, but also be hurtful to you, because sometimes it hurts whenever you hurt another person. You don't want to.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about empathize, being understanding about what they're going through. So I don't know, Brittany. I feel like I feel like everybody's on their own journey. So it's
right.
I don't know that we're ever perfect, as far as having the quote perfect life. Everybody, but maybe we do have the perfect life. Maybe it's just not what we think is perfect. Sometimes.
Yeah.
So the other two is enhanced self-esteem that I have written down here. So it makes it easier to get into the zone, to turn off the brain, stop negative self-talk. It also, meditation is found to increase social self-confidence, sociability, just general psychology or psychological health, and social maturity. And it also can help increase your energy. One thing that I found after having weight loss surgery, I was going through a period right after surgery and found that about a week post-op, my energy level was really low, and I just started finding, I do something called color therapy, which is kind of like color has energy, so you can bring different colors in. And without going in too much depth with that, I did some meditations related to color therapy, and oh my goodness, like after doing that, I just felt 100 times better. It was amazing. And I can share a link here when we get done. It's on another private page maybe that might be helpful for you with color therapy. If anybody's interested with that, I'll share that here shortly. Let me see here. I have not been doing the ask a questions very good.
That's okay. You don't hear an echo still, right?
I do not. Does anybody else hear an echo that's on our call?
I don't. I think it was just because my headphones weren't working for some reason, but they're working now, so.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing here for just a second, take a breather, see if there's anybody that wants to comment on anything. And then also, I'm going to we have 2 handouts for this topic, and Brittany has graciously downloaded those to the ProCare website. You guys will see, if you're on your laptop and even on a cell phone, you should see a little link that says support group handouts. Click here. You don't necessarily have to do that for this presentation, but those are available. And then we also, Brittany, I may have you post the link if you don't mind, directly to that in the chat box. Right? So if anybody comes back later, they're always welcome to go back later and download those. I'm going to actually share my screen here and show you what that looks like whenever you go, and what the first handout looks like. So when you go to www.procarenow.com, this little About Us thing right here, as you do click that, support group handouts, Brittany and I have done, as I mentioned earlier, all different types of topics now, and so we have lots of different things on here. But at the very bottom of this, because it's our last one, and it should pop up here in a second, is Meditation Basics and Meditation Survey. The first one we're going to go to is this meditation survey. So I'm going to make this bigger. And if you guys have a piece of paper, you're welcome to kind of do this. We're going to talk through this. So grab a piece of paper if you can. And we are going to talk about this. Let's see. Okay. So the very first one, sorry, I'm looking at different screens here to make sure I'm not missing anything. So we're going to be evaluating how you are right now with meditation. So you have a key in a month, maybe mark down on your calendar a month from now, so October 9th or 10th, to go back and reevaluate. In 6 months, make yourself a little calendar note to go back and reevaluate if meditation is something that you're interested in starting to participate in. So the very first question, we're going to do 1 is strongly agree and 7 is strongly disagree. So on a gauge. So how about the first question? I can get into a deep meditation. Okay. So would you say strongly agree, somewhat, neither? Okay, all of those. Let you answer. Okay. The second one, I am aware of the effects of my meditation practice. And the next one, I trust my intuition and make decisions easily and quickly. The next one, I am resilient to stress. The next one, I am productive during my daily activities. And the next one, I am able to easily fall asleep. Sorry about the pop-up. I am able to easily fall asleep and stay asleep. Move the screen up here a little bit. Next one, my self-esteem levels are elevated. Okay, and I'm going to go so that you can see this gauge. So 1 to 7. Okay, next one, my energy levels are elevated. Hope I'm not going too fast for you guys. Next one, I feel a strong sense of connection. Talking about that inner being part of yourself, or God, or whatever you want to call it, you know.
Sorry, that was my phone.
That's okay. I think I can get this to where I can read these last two. Next one, my mood stays stable without severe highs or lows. Next one, I have a high state of well-being. Okay, and then you can total that. So it kind of gives you a way to see where you're at as far as the total number. And what I would recommend again is to go back, set on your calendar, go back and reevaluate. If you start a meditation practice, that way you can kind of reevaluate, you know, how you're doing. It's kind of like with bariatric surgery, you know, you have a scale, but you also have other things to gauge by your clothing. You can use a measuring tape, all those type of things. This is just one way to measure if this is working for you. Okay, so I'm going to kind of stop sharing that screen and go back to my main screen, see if there's any comments. See if anybody has anything. We're gonna I have a few other things like here on the slides, and then we're gonna go into this meditation guide. So I'm gonna share one more time. You're gonna see the PowerPoint, and so we're gonna be going through several sections. First of all, how to meditate. Second part 2 is how long to meditate. Third part is body positions. Next part is different forms of meditation. That's part of the same, different forms of meditation. Next one, accessory items that increase focus and key points. Okay, so I'm going to kind of jump back up here to where we were. I'm going to jump on our meditation guide. So give me just a second. Can you see on my screen here, it says Meditation Basics, the how-to guide for increased sense of calm and peace.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm looking at my questions.
I was going to say, I don't see any new ones.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, we're going to go to part 1 here, how long to meditate. So it's about training your awareness, as we talked about getting into the healthier sense of perspective. And kind of flip up here to this first little slide here. So the most common, before answering that question, what I want to say is, press start answering there. Most common complaint people often say is, I can't get my mind to stop thinking. And so 5 minutes can seem like a long time. So it's okay to have a busy mind and for thoughts to pour through while meditating. It's involuntary. It's just as your heart beats, your mind produces thoughts. And so thoughts aren't your enemy. When we're talking about meditating, The very first thing that I would say is, start with just a minute. Start with just a minute, and then you can increase from there. Even 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, whatever you build up to is good. 5 minutes a day can even produce massive results. Even 5 minutes twice a day. So the very first thing that I would say is just get comfortable and prepare to sit still. Maybe relax your body. And meditation can actually be done, it can be done anywhere. It can be done at your desk, like if you're sitting there, unless you're kind of self-conscious about other people watching you, but it can be done, if you take a bathroom break, you can go to the bathroom. It can be done in your car. If you're driving, you just kind of got to be a little aware that if you're going into altered states, or very deep relaxation, that it may make you a little less able to kind of focus on what you're doing. So be aware of that. But being out in nature, any of those things are great places. And then the most basic way to start meditating is just focusing on your breath and slowing down your breath. So keeping your attention on your inhale and exhale, kind of letting go of thoughts and following your breath. So just right now, just kind of take a slow, deep breath in and let it out. And you can use counting, like counting to 7 and then relaxing out on with an exhale of 8. For example, counting on 7. So breathe in. We're going to count to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then breathing out at 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can do that in consecutive ways, like increasing that number from 7 to 8 on your breath in and increasing the number from 8 to 9 on your breath out, just to kind of slowly relaxing your mind and your breath. So that's the most simple way. Starting out, as I mentioned before, just a few minutes can be effective. Work up to 5 minutes. For those that are more advanced and have been meditating for a while, you could do 10 minutes or 15 minutes. For me, the biggest times I guess I find that are the best times of meditation for me is the first thing in the morning or before I go to bed. I usually meditate both of those times in the morning, maybe for anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, and in the evening, depends on how tired I am. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, because it just helps me fall asleep, and it helps me focus on, some maybe my own health and my own well-being and that type of thing. It becomes a practice. So it's just like exercise. Brittany and I was talking about exercise. Brittany, you still there with us? You okay?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. Are we doing okay on comments and everything?
Yeah, well, we don't have any new comments, no questions.
Okay. Perfect. So the next thing is remembering some key points. So relaxing your body is essential because that's going to help you reach higher states of consciousness. And meditation is not the time to solve problems. So it can be. There are some meditations that I've found. There's one, it's called the Silva method, which I love. And it is a way to solve problems. But what I mean here is it's about just kind of relaxing your mind and not stressing about things. You cannot stop thinking. We talked about that. So becoming aware of your thoughts and refocusing on your breath and just kind of letting the thoughts dissolve instead of trying to get frustrated or anxious about that. It's not mystical. It's about coming into your most natural state of your body, your mind, your spirit, because there's so much more about ourselves that we can learn through meditation. It's about intensifying your focus if needed. So there are mantras. There's little short words that you can say, or little short phrases that you can say to try to help get into a higher state of connectedness. So I am, or I feel, I am happy, I am joyous, I am loved, or I feel I feel joy, I feel happiness, or I know that it's possible to feel those things, or some of the little words or phrases that you can say. Sometimes people will bring little mantras in, like which is they say it's the expression of God in a vibrational form. And so it's about kind of bringing that sense inward so that you're kind of changing the vibration and the frequency of your body to help you align more closely to that original state of being. So those can be helpful. If they're not helpful to you, there's nothing wrong with not doing those things, but those can be something that you can use to kind of intensify your focus. Your meditation may become richer, will become richer as you go. The more you meditate, you let that inner experience unfold. It's almost like an exciting, amazing journey. And it's highly personal. So there's no right or wrong way. There's not somebody does something better than someone else, because we all have that ability within us. And it's about perceiving and listening to that inner spirit. So the next thing is kind of when and how long. And I kind of mentioned that already. But it's about kind of like overall experience. So let me kind of go here. So the more masterful you become at meditating, the more you think and you realize that everything you think, feel, and do is a meditation. I talked about that a while ago. You learn that your whole life is an inner experience being perceived outwardly. And so you can change that. If you don't like something that you're experiencing, you can change the way you see or perceive it by changing the way you feel about it. So being completely aware and present can help. And this is the true art and essence of embodying both the spiritual side and the physical side of things. So I have this little awareness scale. So neutral is the very middle. And I call the neutral zone 0 point. And 0 point would probably be like just the place if in all actuality you never wanted to have these high levels of emotion, either low or high. I mean, high is good. There's nothing wrong. I had somebody ask me after a meditation class once, is it bad to feel good then? If you're saying being neutral is such a good thing, it's not bad or good, but it's about when you take out having those real highs, when you go through those real lows, you don't notice that fluctuation so much. It's about being more neutral and more easily defined. So on the spiritual side, I call it on the energy side. Everything's energy. On the energy side, and then you have the physical side. When you can bring those two together, it's kind of like a heaven on earth place. I hope I'm making sense. I hope this isn't too deep for you guys.
Guinness. Sorry, that's my dog.
He had something to say about that.
He did.
And Kathy says, thank you. I have a 6 p.m. meeting, so I will jump out here. The resources are great. And so Kathy can always come back and listen if you have to jump off. Okay, next thing here is, so there's no specific time of the day that is best for meditation. Pick the time that works best for you. The length of time will vary as your practice intensifies. Start with 1 to 2 minutes and then work up to the time frame that fits your needs. So, there are people like Buddhist monks and people who have a prayerful life. By prayer is just a form of meditation, regardless of what religious affiliation. All this that I'm talking about is not religious affiliated, it's spiritual related. It can be religious affiliated, if you have a strong connection to, if you're Catholic or if you're Baptist or if you're whatever, you can entangle some of those beliefs with meditation. You can use prayer as part of that. But it is it's very individualized. You don't have to do that, but it is something you can do. Kind of go on to the next slide. So when to meditate. Okay, and these are key points. So mornings, if you sets the tone for your entire day and will help you to be more focused, content, and optimistic. meditation can be enhanced because your mind is free and clear before the stressors of the day have crept in. And that's why I love so much, because I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, you set the mode for your entire day by your morning routines. If you feel like I've had mornings where I've jumped out of bed and I was late for work, or I overslept and I was like rushing around, and it just kind of put a little damper on my morning. Not that you can't change that ever, but it's nice to be, intentional. I set my alarm usually 20 to 30 minutes early, just because I like to have that time to meditate, and also just to kind of wake up very, very slowly. So it's about kind of setting a smile on your face before your day actually starts. The next thing is evening. So if you have trouble sleeping or falling asleep, then meditating at night can be beneficial, as it allows you to silence your mind and even your worries, and it can empower you to contemplate your day, to make more things more mindful. So you can kind of look back at your day, and you can kind of think of some of the experiences you had, and maybe find a way to feel better about those, so that you kind of balance out your mood and you feel more relaxed, in a relaxed state. And also help you to make choices for the next day or the next days ahead, on how you want to spend your time and energy. Because that's really important. With everything that's been happening this last year, these last couple years, being purposeful, I feel is so helpful, because it makes I feel like that we're all here. If we're all still here, we're here for a reason. And other people need your brilliance. Other people need the love that you give. Other people need maybe a gift that you have, or the support that you have, or just the inspiration that you give. So finding time for reflection is great. During a break. So I talked about, during the day, like driving or going, like if you take a little bathroom break, or you have a little break during your day, if you work from home, or if you work in the office, maybe going outside. I know the hospital that I worked at had a really peaceful little area that I could sit and just kind of take a distress break, just go out in nature and just kind of sit and relax. So little blocks throughout the day to block and refocus. I have on here driving at a stop sign, during a bathroom break, or when you feel your mind swirling and need to rebalance. And I have had times where maybe I had a phone call. When I was working in the hospital setting, I remember whenever I worked in the ER, I did a lot of quality management stuff, and I would have a lot of phone time. And I can remember just feeling really off balance at times. Something would get me upset. But just taking time to stop whenever I realized I was feeling myself swirling, and stop and rebalancing myself can be really helpful, or rebalancing yourself. And then present moment. So being in a state where you're no longer worrying about what happened in the past and not fearing what will happen in the future, just going kind of with the flow of life. So that is that. Part 3. Part 2, I got more on part 2. Let me see here where we're at time. So, we have a few more parts. We're going to kind of keep going. So this one may be a little longer, just because it's a lot of information, but we want you guys to get the most of it. Mm-hmm. If at any time you need to pop off, feel free to do so. You can always pop back on. And
always watch the replay.
Yeah, watch the replay. We are at 53 minutes right now. So how long should I meditate to get results? So remembering these key points. So the amount of time isn't as important as being consistent and making it part of your routine. So it's best to approach meditation like anything else. Start small, build up slowly, find your own personal sweet spot. For some people, the sweet spot is 10 minutes. For others, it's 60 minutes. And I mentioned earlier, kind of like Buddhist monks, they may meditate all day long because they've practiced it, and they're okay with just kind of quieting themselves and just being in that relaxed state. It benefits everybody. When you meditate, it not only benefits you, but it benefits your children, it benefits your spouse, it benefits your coworkers. And the reason why I say that is because when you're in a more peaceful, balanced state, you energetically affect other people around you, not even knowing it. Like when you're happy and you're smiling, that can influence another person in a positive way. When you're sad or depressed, it can influence people in another way. Have you ever been around somebody sitting there and somebody was really sad or depressed, and all at once you start feeling that way? It's, How do you change that? Make yourself less influential to how other people are feeling and more influenced on how you feel. So for beginners, 1 to 2 minutes, focusing primarily on your breath and relaxation. For kind of an intermediate to more advanced, everything's about balance. Make sure it's time well spent. And if 15 minutes is challenging, drop back to 10. If 30 minutes feels like it isn't helpful, then boost it up to 40 to 60. So it just depends. Every day is different for me. I don't sit there and time when I meditate, but I just it's become so much a part of my routine that I don't even think about it anymore. It's just a part of everything. So the more that you do it, the more that you find it's your go-to tool for everyday situations. So any comments before we kind of move on? Anything, Brittany?
No, just Kathy was the last one. I don't
Okay.
see any questions either.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, the 3 questions on here are the ones that you have listed.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we still got some people here, and I'm going to, we're going to talk about body positions. And I'd say the most important thing is finding comfort. Okay, there's no one size fits all approach to positioning yourself while meditating. Optimal stances can provide a sense of focus and relaxation. So we're going to examine a few things, but again, I don't want you to focus on that you have to do meditations a certain way and that your body has to be aligned a certain way. So sitting with good posture, so it can increase your ability to breathe more freely and deeply and help you with your focus. If you're laying, you may add a pillow, or if you're sitting, you may add a pillow under your tailbone area to prop yourself up kind of forward just a little bit. Sometimes that helps me. I have kind of a hard time like sitting straight up with my legs crossed apart. Like you see people whenever, like you see pictures of people meditating that way, like sitting straight with their legs crossed and then their back straight. And to me, that feels a little uncomfortable. Whenever I've been in classes before where we've done meditation, to me, the most helpful thing is to set like a little pillow right around my tailbone area. And that can kind of help if you have a hard time with holding those positions. Lying, like let's say you do a yoga class, because yoga's on here too. Yoga can be a form of meditation, and it helps to increase your balance and strength. But if you're lying at the end of some kinds of yoga classes or exercise classes, the little exercise class we did today, we did a little relaxation afterwards. And what happens is when you're laying down, it can automatically make you feel more relaxed and then kind of help you increase your focus. You could do that as well. And I'm going to kind of go to my ask a question and make sure. Okay, I'm still on that. Okay, mudras. So what is a mudra? A mudra means joy, and hand positions used to channel energy into the mind and body that would otherwise escape through the fingertips. So our bodies are all energy. Every little cell, every little atom. Our muscles are made of millions of different particles of energy. So everything we are is energy, and you can kind of channel that energy more effectively by doing different hand positions. So your palms touching centered over your heart. That's called the prayer position. It's a celebration of the moment. A lot of times you'll find it being used in the opening or closing of yoga. If you're Catholic or you're some kind of Christian faith, a lot of times they'll use the prayer position as a way to kind of center yourself and be more present. The chin mudra, which is your thumb and your second fingers touching and your palms face upward, the unity of the individual soul with the supreme soul. Just kind of helps you with focusing. And then the next one we're going to talk about is, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but Jnana mudra of knowledge. Your palm faces downward, evokes wisdom, knowledge, and clear communication. So, there's lots. I think there's probably 50 to 100 different types of body positions of what we call the mudras. But you can Google it if you're really interested in learning more about that. But just to kind of use it as a little introduction, because you kind of see that on a lot of pictures on like social media, or as you look at different things posted online or articles and things like that. Done answering. The very next thing we're going to talk about is the different forms of meditation. And so here there's like literally, like I said, hundreds, probably even thousands of different types of meditation, including like visualization, mindfulness, mantras, movement meditations like yoga or qigong. There's prayer. There's so many. There's color, like I mentioned before, color therapy. There's just tons of different things that you can use to create a way to kind of align. So sometimes it's about being intentional. Here we got this next slide. Some forms of meditation. Some things are meant specifically for healing. Some are meant for mindfulness. Some are just silent meditations. So it's just basically focusing on nothing. Some are gratitude. These aren't just 4 categories. I just picked 4 different types to kind of tell you about, to kind of introduce you if you're not real familiar with maybe some beginning points of meditation. So for healing, people struggling with chronic pain or other medical conditions can use healing meditations to feel better. Some report dramatic increases, while others simply appreciate the reduction of stress that comes from sitting quietly and focusing in the mind. If you find that that's something you're attracted to, you've had maybe some kind of medical thing going on, or maybe recovering for something. I'll start answering that on the Q&A. Then I'd say go to Google and Google healing meditation. I can't even imagine how many different results will pop up, but the right one will likely pop up for you, and it will help you with centering. Mindfulness. So mindfulness is a type of meditation in which you can focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment without interpretation or judgment. So it involves breathing, guided imagery, and other practices to relax the body and mind. So a mindfulness one might be something like going from your feet all the way up your body, your knees, your hips, your chest, your neck, your arms, your head, and focusing on each of parts of those body and telling your body to relax. That might be considered like a mindfulness meditation. Silent meditation, the basic idea here is simple. So every time your mind begins to shift away from your breath and you get lost in thought, you simply and gently bring your attention back. And we're going to do a meditation at the very end here, kind of focusing on, I think the one that I had picked is a balloon meditation. If we have time, I'll talk about a silent meditation as well and kind of give you that. The next one is gratitude. So it's a type of meditation that focuses on expressing gratitude for the things in your life. It could be as simple as starting a gratitude journal and writing in that journal every day the things that you're thankful for. Because what happens is thought is energy, and where your energy goes, your expression, your perception, everything goes alongside that. So if you're really grateful for things in your life and you're focused on those, you're going to see more of those things. When you're focused on negativity, what happens is you're going to see more of that. So it's kind of like the worse things get, the worse things get. I hope that makes sense. Anything you want to say here, Brittany, before I kind of move on?
Just that I agree. If you focus on negative things will always find you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you scared me. I was really listening. And then Stella came up and licked me and I jumped.
Aw, she wanted to give you a little love.
Hi, baby.
It's a lot easier to, one thing I want to mention is it's a lot easier too for people to love us when we love ourselves. And I heard a testimonial from someone recently who had weight loss surgery that that said that. They said they lost a bunch of weight, and they said, she said she was talking about her husband, and she said the biggest thing that he said that he noticed is it was easier to love her because she loved herself. And that's so true. You know, we don't realize how when we're upset with life, when we have a grudge about life, when we're judgmental of life, you know, it is harder. I know when my husband's in a good mood, I find, man, it's easy to love him whenever he's in a good mood. When he's in a bad mood, it takes a lot more intention and thought to shift myself, to get out of that zone and not focus on him being, you know, negative. Because part of my personality is I'm a peacemaker, and I want everyone to be happy, and I cannot stand when someone's unhappy. Yeah. What would you say about that?
I agree. There is something that one of my friend's moms told me, and it's really stuck with me. So everybody gives off, there's energy in everything and everyone, right? Mm-hmm. And everything that you do too gives off energy. So even you just sitting there like a bump on a log and not being you're not loving life, I guess. It gives off this energy, and it's like an icky feeling. You know what I mean? And people don't want to be around that.
No.
So you catch flies with honey. You know?
And you know, one of the things that I was taught early on, I'm just going to say it was intuitive, like an intuitive hit, you know, that inner voice that talks to you, and that, whether you call it God or whatever, but just being you, just being tuned in, tapped in, being happy is some of the best gift that you can give other people. Like, let's say you are a nurse and you walk, like I can remember walking into a patient's room, and, you know, maybe they're in the worst state of their life. They may have had some catastrophic things happen to them. And you just being you, tuned in, tapped in, can help that person. Brittany, like you said, it's a place of well-being, a place of being centered that can actually help them more than anything else. Worrying about them is not going to help them. Being tapped in yourself, and it gives off a vibe. I'm just saying.
It does.
Yeah. So, like, let's say you're having a hard time. So, next thing we're going to talk about is what are some accessory items may increase your focus and intention while meditating. So, we're going to kind of go up here. And so, we talked about everything as energy. By placing something close or into your environment, your body starts resonating with that frequency wavelength. So, doing so, you can literally and in the moment change your body's pattern emotionally, mentally, or physically. So some of those things, you can get these things almost anywhere. You know, aromatherapy, oils, candles, certain smells, certain stones or minerals, certain types of music, okay, or sounds. Mandalas are prayer beads. Mandalas are like drawings of shapes. It's kind of like sacred geometry. There's sacred shapes and pictures of just like the little picture that's shown on this screen here. Prayer beads are like, a rosary would be an example of that, but there's also little beads that you just go bead by bead that helps you focus your attention and say something and be intentional with it. There's meditation apps. Those are really have grown. I mean, I've noticed that there's tons of those out there. Pillows and mats just to kind of help you be comfortable. We also talked about journaling or a notebook. That can be super helpful for awareness. That was probably whenever I first started on my journey with all of this. One of the very first things I started studying was Akashic record readings and being able to like tap into like a person at a soul level and be able to experience that and resonate with that. And that required me a lot of journaling, and it helped my intuition a lot. Just kind of being able to listen to myself. Like sometimes we just don't trust ourselves. Like you get intuitional hits all the time, and sometimes trusting what those say is just, it's amazing when you start really trusting yourself, what's coming through. The other thing is color therapy, introduction of color. And while we're here, I don't want to jump off. Whenever I stop sharing my screen, I will, let me see what's next here. We're going to do a short meditation. We're at 6:09. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second so that you guys will see my main screen. I'm going to get that color therapy blog that I can post for you guys. Color. Do you have any comments while we're talking, Brittany?
Not really, just that I've never tried color therapy, but I've always wanted to.
It's I have on the side I've done.
You do that on the side, don't you?
Yeah, I do coaching on the side, and this is not for anybody to feel like they have to do anything with that. I just want to share this because I have an exercise using colors to balance the body in a color chart. It's a blog that I wrote a while back. So let me just copy that and I'll just paste it into this, and you guys can access that. That's an extra little gift for you. It's really pretty cool. Let me see here if so in that is it shows the different color frequencies of in the wavelengths. So each of those are different and how it works with the body and the energetic system. Some people call it the chakra system. Also how you can use color to transform your body in different things to kind of shift different patterns. I have a free color chart with that too. So anyways, just a fun little thing on the side if anybody's interested in color therapy. Whatever you're drawn to is what's right for you. Like everybody's not the same. Everybody's different. I know in my lifetime I've studied so many different things because at the time that's what I was attracted to. So whatever you're attracted to, go for it. Learn, experience. That's what I say with all of this. And so I'm going to share my screen one more time, Brittany, because I have a great little thing here. Actually, I'm going to go to the back to where we were on the guide. So, okay. Can you guys see that, the guide? Here we go. Okay. So we're going to do a short meditation, okay? And we're going to call it the balloon meditation. So what I want everybody to do, I'm going to done answering the last question there. What I want everybody to do is just kind of take a deep breath. At the same time you do, exhale and then close your eyes. And I want you to focus on your breathing for just a moment. And we're going to breathe in very slowly and breathe out very slowly. With your next breath in, breathe in even slower. Slow everything down, your mind, your body. And breathe out even slower. I'm going to do that one more time, focusing on breathing in even slower. Everything's slowing down, your whole nervous system, your whole body, breathing out. And I want you to envision that you're holding a group of balloons. Keep your eyes closed. Each balloon represents a thought, feeling, or emotion in your body. And as you breathe in, focus in on one balloon. And as you exhale, allow that balloon to float away. So we're going to allow you some time here. So as you breathe in, focus on a balloon. And as you breathe out, allow one to go away. As you focus in, breathe in. Want to focus on a balloon, breathe out, let it go. And I'm going to be silent here for a moment. I'm going to allow you to do that until all balloons have been released. And then slowly, we're going to do 3 breaths in, and breath in and breath out 3 times. and come back to full awareness. So breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Kind of come back, kind of wiggle your fingers and your toes. And basically that little meditation is mindfulness. It's just to kind of help you be more mindful of kind of letting things go, centering yourself, becoming more peaceful regardless of what's going on. Kind of not really having anything to have to really focus on, just kind of being yourself. And the thing about meditation is that you become more and more of you. That's a little quote by David Lynch, and I like that because I think that's the truth. Who we are is so important, and knowing more of who we are each and every day, like the true us, is really important. As far as resources, we have the resources here on this little guide. You guys have access to all of this after we finish. So I'm going to stop sharing. Apologize about that. Come back. So how was that? How was that little meditation? It was short, but
it was nice.
Glad you liked it.
I feel a lot more relaxed now.
Anything? See if anybody out there has anything to say.
It's there.
Give everybody a minute. It looks like our poll, we had a couple more people vote. We had somebody say they do it a couple times a week, and we had one person say they're interested in learning more. So hopefully you guys got something out of that. I hope it helped you in some way. I'd say if you found one piece in this that helped you, investigate it a little bit and kind of start diving into it piece by piece. Little lifestyle changes happen over time. And I feel like I'm learning more and more of that. I don't know about you, Brittany, but I talked earlier about us doing ProCare, our corporate office, Nick, he hired a fitness coach for us, and she's been kind of helping us over the last month, and we're going to be working towards another month of some goals. And I feel like it's in little small changes. I lost 2 pounds over the last 2 months, and I think Brittany did about the same, maybe even a little more, I don't know. But we just felt like making small little changes, and a lot of it, Deborah says hi.
Hi, Deborah. If you guys are just joining, I just want to remind everyone that this is available for replay as well.
And it should be up for replay fairly quickly after we get done. Like if there's certain parts of this you want to watch. But the small little changes I found, and Brittany and I were talking, we really I feel like we're both getting more invested the more time we're spending with Amy, our fitness coach. But that first month, I started making small changes in how much water I was drinking, how much activity I was doing. I found I was making changes in like being more conscious of what I was eating on a daily basis. I don't know. How about you, Brittany?
Yeah, what she did for me, I feel like, is open my eyes in ways that I didn't even know was possible. And I know that sounds so cliche, but I'll give you guys an example. So I'm an open book. I share just about everything with everybody. So I hope that doesn't make anyone feel uncomfortable. But I was struggling with kidney issues in early July. And actually I had my first kidney stone. For anyone that's still on the call, maybe you've had them. I don't know. Brenda, have you ever had one before?
Maybe. At one point, I've had urinary tract infections before. But
yeah.
I think I had a kidney stone once, but I'm not sure.
It's very painful. In fact, my doctor told me that it's sometimes it can be just as painful as childbirth. So, after that happened, I was like, what am I doing wrong? I gotta be doing something wrong because, I don't really have anyone in my family that has kidney stones, so it made me think that it's not genetic and it's probably my diet. So I talked to Amy about it, and one of the first things she gave me to do was just drink more water. And you guys, I've not had any issues, knock on wood. But I've not had any issues, and my skin feels so much better now that I've been drinking water. It's little things like that you don't even think of, Yeah. And sleeping, okay? I could never get to sleep at a reasonable hour. reasonable, meaning like before midnight for me. And it was because I don't really know why it was, honestly, but now that I've been taking care of my body, and I don't know, I've just been sleeping better, and I haven't really changed anything. I think it's just my diet being better, working out. Like right now, I could lay down and pass out. Totally. But just little things like that you think you don't even know need changed until it's changed. So like the best way I can describe it is I had a friend that needed glasses, and she didn't realize that she was basically blind. And it was our senior year of high school, actually, and we had a class together, and she was squinting at the board, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Can you see that?" I said, "Yeah, I think you need to get glasses." Turns out, you guys, she couldn't see most of her life.
Oh my gosh, that makes me actually kind of sad.
She couldn't see most of her. I'm not kidding you. She like we were walking out to, because she lived down the street from me. We actually rode the bus and stuff together, and I remember her asking like, "Oh, what is that in the road?" And it was like, I don't know, like a pile of like leaves or something. I'm like, "Oh, it's a pile of leaves." And like, just, small things like that. And it's like, she had no idea that she was living life basically blind until someone fixed it for her. And that's, I mean, I know it's not the same, but that's how I feel about Amy.
Mm-hmm. You don't know until you know. Deborah says here, she says, "I changed my coffee creamer to protein shakes and lost 17 pounds.
That's a really good idea, actually.
Yes. Wow, that's incredible.
We might have to steal that.
Yes,
and let people know.
Hope it's okay, Deborah. We're going to steal your idea.
And that's another thing too. I have so much more energy now in the morning. I had to have at least a minimum of a cup of coffee. Now, don't really need it. This morning I woke up at 7 a.m. and I was ready to roll.
It's incredible how much it changes. Mm-hmm. Just little things. So try meditation. See, I mean, Brittany's been doing some different types of forms of meditation.
Yes.
I think with Amy, and I think she said I've heard you say that you've found some results in that. I just feel like to me, meditation was probably one of the biggest life changers. I mean, I cannot tell you how much it changed my life, and I feel like the more you do it, the more practice you get. Deborah says yes, we can steal her ideas. Thank you so much. And let's see if there's anything else we want to say here. I want to also just mention, I mentioned before, if you guys are interested in knowing more, getting pre-warnings when we're going live, we have the Crowdcast channel that you guys can you can follow us, and you can get notifications. I think it's 10 minutes before an event starts. I'll post that again here in the comment section. We also have our I want to just at least mention our sponsor. I'm going to bring my camera over here. So our sponsor is ProCare Health. I showed you their website, and Brittany she posted links to our ProCare support group handouts. The same site will get you to ProCare, their products. I do want to just mention some of their products. Like they're known really a lot for their bariatric multivitamin. I don't know if that's backwards. Nope, it isn't. Okay, bariatric multivitamins. They have ones with 0 iron, 18 milligrams, and 45. So I have that here. Okay, one a day. Super inexpensive considering all the other ones that are out there on the market. I love these. The next thing, calcium. My favorite is, I stocked up today because I went to the ProCare office. Brittany and I stole some stuff from the office.
Yes.
I didn't steal it. They gave it to me. But calcium chews. So there's different flavors. Dinner, mint, sea salted caramel, and cinnamon bun. And I don't know if we can announce it yet, but hopefully soon there'll be some more new flavors coming out. Got that. And
they're very unique, too.
I know. Now, our bariatric multivitamins do have B12 in them, but I also like taking a little extra B12 for a little extra energy. So B12 complex, which is a liquid. This hasn't even been opened yet. Has a little squirter in there. So Brittany also posted. And for being here with us tonight, we got a surprise for you. See, that's how the B12 looks like. Got a surprise for you. Brittany, you want to share it with them?
Yep. We are going to give you guys a discount code. I'm going to post it in the chat box. It's SEP, as in September, SEP. I like to keep them short and simple so you guys can remember them easily. And then it's going to be SG, and that is going to be 10% off your entire order. Really quick, Brenda, do you mind if I share my screen?
No, not at all.
Okay. We have something exciting that I'd like to show you guys also, since the past couple years have been a little wild with COVID, right? We actually have a new product. It is brand new. Excuse me. Brand new. And can you see that?
Yes.
So this is called our MagD product. And we actually did a whole live event on the benefits of magnesium. And
I'll find that while you're talking, Brittany.
Yeah, thank you. So there's a lot of different benefits that taking magnesium daily can do for you. And that's kind of what we talk about in the live event that Brenda's going to share with you guys. But this is an additional supplement that anyone can take, actually, and it supports immunity. So it has magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, copper, all of that good stuff to keep your immune system healthy. And with cold and flu season coming up, I mean, Brenda, you were a nurse, so that's coming up soon, isn't it?
Which one is it?
Cold and flu season.
Oh, yes. Actually, I feel like people are, we're
probably
in
already
September.
started a
Usually
little bit.
by October, November, it's starting to really hit. But I feel like I've heard, I was talking to a nurse practitioner this last week, and she said that that there's a lot of they were testing for different kind of respiratory viruses because they were seeing a lot of different respiratory viruses already kind of starting. So it's possible there might be extra things out there. And I just posted the link for magnesium, the super mineral. It was a live that we did on that specifically. So and also this has, so you're looking for something to support immunity overall. You know, if that's what you were kind of going at, Brittany, with that, is it has vitamin C, magnesium, D3, and zinc. So,
and copper, yes.
Yes, and copper.
So this will help in a lot of different ways with your immunity. It also could help in things like muscle cramps, muscle soreness, restful sleep. Studies have shown that magnesium really helps with that. There is one thing I wanted to say, though, is that this is a 1 capsule a day recommended daily dose, but this is not going to replace your bariatric vitamin. So you still would need to take a bariatric multivitamin. Okay, guys? This is just something that you can add into your regimen to give you some extra added protection to your immune system. So I hope that makes sense. I didn't want to mislead anyone. And what's really nice is that it's really inexpensive. A 90-day supply is only $14.39. So,
yes,
yeah,
thank you.
That's basically it. I'll stop sharing my screen now. I just want to share the newest product with you guys because we get really excited about these things.
Doesn't take much, does it? Get excited. So thank you guys for joining us. We love you all. We appreciate you for being here. We hope this information was really helpful. You know, please feel free to go back and listen to the replay if there was anything that you wanted to learn more about. And let us know. Our email, Brittany, what is our email? Marketing
at ProCareNow.com.
I'm typing it. Send us a message. Let us know. We don't know here. We want to know if you liked it, if you if there's something that we could have added, if there's a subject that you want us to talk on, if just whatever. Or email us a month from now. Let us know what your survey results are. Yeah. You know, 6 months from now. We'd love to hear from you. So give you a kiss goodbye. Brittany, I'll see you here in an hour. We're going to do another support group. So with the individual group, if you guys ever want to have your bariatric program, invite us on for an individual support group.
We do that too.
So have a great evening. Wonderful. Go meditate. 5 minutes. Enjoy.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.